Now I'm sure you all know that I love me a good cordless drill, even if this one is a Ryobi. But even so, I am a real sucker for corded power tools. You know them all. Corded angle grinder, corded circular saw, corded milling machine. In fact, pretty much every tool that I have except for the drill and the multi-tool is corded. And it's nothing against cordless, in fact they're probably better, at least on the higher end. But at the budget end, I've always found that corded is usually better, and that is usually just down to a different design philosophy. They're usually just big old school motors, high power, low price, and they're usually way better than the cordless tool version at the same price. Plus I also never have to worry about battery life on the high power draw tools. And as someone that uses the angle grinder a lot, I do appreciate that. So with all that said, it is kind of weird that I've spent actual money on a drill. I already own one of those, but this one here, it comes with a cord no less. Now to put a long story short, I'm prepping to build the new workshop, and one thing that I do need to do is drill about 70 or 80 holes into brick and concrete. And to start off, I had a bunch of carbide tip drill bits, but I didn't have a hammer drill. And once I found out that I could use a normal drill to drill through brick, it really was not very fast, and it only took about 4 holes to burn up a drill bit. Now it is worth saying that a few years ago I did have one of those Ryobi hammer drill driver combos, but unfortunately it had a brushed motor and I did manage to burn it out during a particularly difficult project. Now the one that I replaced it with had a brushless motor and it was a huge step up in performance, but unfortunately it lacked the hammer drill function. But considering that I never do masonry work, it was a good trade-off, at least until now. And considering that I probably won't be drilling any masonry after this project, what I decided to do was get the absolute cheapest hammer drill that I could find. I'll use it for this project, if it works, and then afterwards, I'll be done with it. And thankfully, cheap this one was. This one here is from a brand that I know almost nothing about. All I know is that this one came in for about 30% less than the Ozito offering. And if you're not Australian and you don't know Ozito is usually the cheapest, nastiest brand that you can get stuff from. So considering that this was way less than the already ultra cheap brand, already I'm kind of impressed. The important thing though is that it is a hammer drill, and that's really all I need. It is worth pointing out the absolute bare bones packaging that you get here. It's simply a brown box, minimal printing, and that is a pretty good way to save on costs. Now it is worth pointing out that it's not just the cord that makes this thing feel old fashioned. It also comes with a keyed chuck. I haven't used that many drills, but I have not seen a keyed chuck on a drill in a very long time. I mean, I do love me a keyed chuck, but that is more of a lathe mill sort of thing. I'm not really sure how it is going to fare here. I mean, it should be able to get ultra tight, but one thing that I can guarantee is that I am going to be losing this chuck key at least 3 times during this project. With that said though, I probably wouldn't have put keyed chuck on the packaging. That really isn't a selling point that I would want to advertise. It really isn't. You also have to love how their advertising having a variable speed trigger is some sort of major selling point. I mean, that is really scraping the bottom of the barrel when you're all out of ideas. Enough with the shenanigans though, let's just get it open and see what we have here. I really wasn't expecting much, and it really is bare bones, but on first impressions, it really isn't all that terrible. It doesn't feel poorly put together. In fact, it just sort of feels like a generic corded tool that you'd pick up about 15 or 20 years ago. It's definitely on the lighter side, but it really isn't a big drill either. Now I'm assuming that this is the depth stop, which will push into the handle. And the handle simply slips on and you can tighten it. Now the handle feels pretty good, but there is no chance that I'm going to be using that depth stop. It kind of gets in the way and it is pretty rubbish to set up. Honestly, I prefer having a bit of tape on the drill bit or simply marking it out with a bit of Sharpie. Now on the trigger we have a speed adjustment, which is something that I really wouldn't mind having on my normal cordless drill. And the same thing goes for having a trigger lock. I really wouldn't mind having that on a normal drill too. Although it would be nice if it actually worked on this drill. Because whilst it actually does lock, which is really the bare minimum, it doesn't actually lock it in the on position, or at least fully on. When it's locked on, it's only squeezing it by about 10%, which really defeats the purpose of having it in the first place. I think the only way to spin it faster when you have it locked is to simply adjust the speed knob, which isn't really the way that you want to do it. I also don't want to be super unpleasant to this thing, but it does feel like the trigger is about to fall off. Okay, so it's hardly unexpected, but the cheap drill obviously feels a bit cheap and unfinished. But I can put up with a cheap feeling drill if it actually works well as a drill. So how does it feel when it's running? And at least there, it does scrape back some points. For what it's worth, the chuck doesn't feel super cheap. I've had really cheap chucks before, and this one, it doesn't feel terrible. And at least when it's running, there is practically no run out on either the motor shaft, the chuck, or the tool when it's in the chuck. Honestly, that's actually pretty impressive. I also forgot just how fast these corded drills run. There is a gearbox reduction between the motor and the chuck, but even so, this thing is supposed to be running at about 3000 RPM at the chuck. And 3000 RPM is no slouch. As a comparison, the Ryobi and most other 18 volt drills only do about 2000 RPM in their high gear. So to see the difference side by side is actually really impressive. You know, 2000 versus 3000, that's a 50% extra increase in RPM. The real test though is really how does it perform as a drill. Cheap body aside, it still has a 500 watt universal motor and it should theoretically put up a half decent fight. Before I do that though, I do want to stress here that I didn't buy this cheap tool simply just for a video. I bought it to do a medium sized DIY build, and I also wanted to show you if one of these cheap corded drills are actually good or not, because I haven't seen any other videos with this specific drill. So getting into the testing, what really matters here is how well does the drill work as a hammer drill, drilling masonry. Now if all you're doing here is wall plugs, this drill is fine. What I'm using here is a 6mm masonry drill bit, and whilst it was a bit difficult to get tool pressure onto the drill bit, it is working way better than it would be with my normal drill. Of course though, once you apply a bit more pressure to it, it does start to cut a lot faster. And again, I'm using a 6mm cutter to drill holes for 7mm masonry screws. And the performance here was quite good. I was able to get a bit of pressure onto the drill and it drilled quite well. And I was able to drill 24 of these M7.5 masonry screws without any issues at all. I'm sure a more expensive hammer drill would have been able to drill these a lot faster, but this one still did a really good job. So if your projects are simply small stuff, certainly give this one a go. For doing the small stuff, this is easily an 8 out of 10. However, not all the holes that I was doing were 6mm. A lot of them were M10, which required a 10mm hole. And unfortunately, this is where the weakness of the drill started to become pretty obvious. You see, the thing is, carbide can take the heat, but you still don't want to burn it up. And one of the ways to very quickly burn up carbide is to run it ultra fast and get it really hot. But unfortunately with this drill, it was a real struggle to get this thing to run at a low RPM. You know, the motor unfortunately is a low current, high voltage motor, and whilst that's great for having high RPM, it's not all that great for having huge amounts of torque. And because it doesn't have a high-low gearbox, we are pretty much stuck on a very high gearing. And what this means in practice is that generally, at least when you're using larger drill bits, you have to run this thing slightly faster than you would want just to keep the drill spinning and cutting. Not to say that it can't do it, you know, I did this 25 times to do 25 anchor screws, but the speed that I had to run it at was not great for the tools. I needed 25 holes and I think I got about 20 holes from a single drill bit. And 20 holes is less than I was expecting. And I think a big reason for the reduced tool life is the fact that I had to run this at a higher RPM, which led to a lot of extra heat. The other problem that I ran into is simply that the hammer action just isn't very powerful. Even compared to the old Ryobi that I used to have, the vibration or the hammer action energy simply isn't that strong. It's a light-ish vibration rather than a more forceful hammer action. And what I really found was that I had to apply more pressure than I would usually want to get the cutter to cut better. And once again, I think that was contributing to the reduced tool life that I was seeing from my drill bit. I'm sure this was also a problem with the 6mm drill bit, but it was really pronounced with the 10, and I'm sure if you moved up to a 12, it would be even worse. So for larger masonry work, it is probably a 4 out of 10. With that said though, credit where credit is due, it was able to do the 25 M10 anchor screws, and apart from the reduced tool life and the fact that it wasn't all that fast, it was able to drill the holes. I probably wouldn't want to do more than 25, at least with this drill, but it was able to do it. So at least for me, my conclusion is I bought it for a job and it was able to do that job. It was a little bit slow and it didn't give me the best tool life in the larger diameters, but apart from that, I really can't complain all that much. So for 39 bucks, yeah, it is definitely worth it. Of course though, I do need to drill wood, and I was pretty curious at how a $39 drill would be at drilling wood. And honestly, it is actually kind of amazing. And that is really no joke. I am really loving the extra RPM that this drill can spit out compared to my normal brushed and brushless drill. And for this video, I'll compare it to my normal $100 brushed Ryobi that I use in the garage. And I gotta say, in normal drilling, the corded drill runs circles around the cordless. What I'm drilling here is normal 90 by 45 pine, and I'm drilling it because I have a ton of offcuts. And it should be pretty obvious how the extra spindle speed is really shining through when drilling. You know, not only does it drill faster, but I think it also evacuates the chips out of the hole a lot better as well. The cool thing is though, is that it's not just normal drill bits where this thing really excels. The difference between cordless and corded simply gets bigger once I switch over to using spade bits. Despite the fact that the corded drill can only go up to 2 amps, it is barely bogging down even with a 60mm spade bit. Honestly, the speed that it's going at is pretty impressive. And I am glad that I did this testing, because I have a lot of spade bit drilling that I have to do in the next project, and I'm going to be doing all of it with the corded drill. And amazingly, the corded drill is even better when it comes to using hole saws. Obviously, I'll stick to cordless when I'm doing gyprock, but when it comes to wood, it is really night and day. Obviously, it does bog down a little bit once you get a bit deep, but at least with these smaller diameters, it can still run at a really high RPM. Compare that to the speed that I'm getting on the corded drill, where I have to switch down to the low RPM to get this thing to keep on moving. Honestly, for a $39 drill, I am getting way more value out of it than I thought I ever would get. And honestly, when I get my wood shop up and running, I'm probably going to have this thing permanently set up, because I really appreciate the extra RPM and the performance that I'm able to get out of this thing. Honestly, the only real time where this thing really went wrong was when the trigger lock jammed on, when it was not supposed to. And unfortunately, it did that at the exact same time in which the hole saw bound up, which unfortunately led it to almost melting itself, but thankfully in the end, it didn't, although it did get very close. It's also worth saying that if you're trying to do fasteners, this thing is pretty much useless. I mean, it's not totally out of the question if you really need it to, but the gearing is wrong, it's way too fast, and you typically have to run it a lot faster than you would want it to. And more often than not, you'll probably strip the head of the screw if you're using a Phillips head screw. With that said though, I was able to drive a 100mm bugle screw through the piece of pine. Although it is only pine, I doubt you could do it if it was a harder wood. But of course, doing work like that is the reason why I have a normal drill. And despite the fact that it is a cheap brushed motor drill, it is still a very capable drill, capable of doing the large bugle screws that I needed to do. And there we have it. Honestly, this is not the conclusion that I thought I was going to have when I originally purchased a $39 drill, but having used it for the past couple of weeks, having done almost 60 out of my 80 masonry holes, several holes using big hole saw cuts, and tons of holes using spade bits and twist drills, apart from some slightly poor tool life and performance using the largest masonry drills, it really hasn't put a foot wrong, and in many aspects it has outperformed my more expensive cordless drill. And as far as I'm concerned, once this is all over, this will be a tool that I will continue to use in my woodworking shop. And with that, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.